All right, guys, Rob Ferretti here, and starting to move some cars, but the one car that I'm really concerned about moving, that I've been talking about moving for years now, is my Supra. And I don't know if you guys know the story about my Supra, but let me show you over here. Back here is my 1998 Toyota Supra. Now, this is the second cool car I've ever owned, and I bought it in pieces. And when I say I bought it in pieces, it was purchased by somebody who sold it to Dave. Dave then took it apart and he was going to modify it and do all this stuff. He did not. And then Roger bought it from him. Roger sat on it for a bunch of years. Then I bought it from Roger. Now, this car has spent a good portion of its life either parked, going very, very fast, or in pieces. And it's in like a combination state at the moment. Now, I've told you that I don't think Supras should be worth $300,000. I don't really believe in collector cars. Let's put it that way. I think cars they have a value in what they provide. This, I always knew it was going to be a great car. People laughed at me when I told them it was going to be a $100,000 car one day. Everyone's like, "Prasha, get out of here, loser." And now you'd be hard-pressed to find a decent example for less than $100,000. Sure, there's many different variants and many different things that go into Supra values. There's the year, there's the, if it was a base model, if it was a naturally aspirated car or a turbo car, if it's right-hand drive or left-hand drive, if it's automatic, not automatic, Targa or hardtop. There's so many different factors that go in, but one of the biggest factors you're gonna have is the year. And this is a 1998. The 1998 is the rarest. It's got the smallest production volume. Then to get a 98 six-speed Targa, and these cars were never going to be, like, people buy Ferraris and they look at them for their whole lives. They don't buy Supras to look at them their whole lives. They buy them and they drive them, and they were cheap and they were moddable, so people would buy them, put a bunch of miles on them, go on eBay and fix them up as cheap as they could. Cars that make it through that for whatever reason. Mine has a story that it made it through its lifetime because it was taken apart and we just never got around to putting it back together, because this was really a Humpty Dumpty. When I bought it, it had all the parts, but they were scattered all around. So we had to literally go through, source the OEM parts that were missing, but then when you source the part, boom, I find it in a pile. Oh, we actually have this right here. It's right. So it's just one of those things that putting all those pieces together took a while. I didn't get this car running until I think 2009. Now, this car has 19,000 miles on it right now, and I'm like, you know what? The values are really starting to take off. I should probably sell this. Like, there's no reason this car should cost as much as a new Lamborghini. But I said, I also really like it. And if I'm gonna sell it, I'm gonna get another one. But I don't care about this car because it's got low mileage. I care about this car because I like this car. So I found another one and I bought another one. And then I built another one to the same way I wanted this one. So I spent about $100,000 plus the purchase of the car to build a second car, which is a 95 automatic that I swapped over. I did that out of Petrol Works. It's a different story, but they should be done with that car soon, and it's time to sort of get rid of this one. Now, you'll see a couple of things are missing on this. I've got my 98 headlights are over in my 95 because the headlights on the 95 were yellow, and I was using the 95 to film out in Vegas for a show called Banging Gears. Then you have just the little things that are missing in here, which is like the center console and then the rear seat, which the rear seat is actually right there. But the car is together. Like, the car drives. The battery's disconnected right now. But you'll see stuff that you don't normally see is like a super clean interior. These interiors, when you see them online, unless they've been refinished, which nobody refinishes Supra interiors well. I don't know why. You can always tell it's refinished. To get a good OEM seat is worth almost as much as the car, in my opinion. But this car has everything that makes it collectible. It's got the VIN tags. Now, there's VIN tags all around the car to show if the car's ever been in an accident. Not only has this car not been in an accident, this car has all its VIN tags, and I've left the damage on it, which, when I show you the damage, it's got the ancillary, like moving it around in the garage damage on it. And then down here is the most notable. This was Roger's nephew or something like that. Fell on it with his bicycle. See right there? And like that stuff I'm leaving in the car because at least then it doesn't have any paintwork. But I was like, all right, now that I've got my other car situated, there's no reason for me to sit on two. That was the reason that I got the second one, is so I could sell the first one. And then we start going through the process to get rid of the sell it, and I find the biggest oops I've probably experienced in my life, which is they ran the CarFax, and the mileage on my CarFax on this one isn't 19,000. It's at 143,000. Now, conveniently, that's the mileage in which I purchased my other car. So remember when I brought my other car, when I was trying to get it running, we had this whole thing down in DC where we picked it up and towed it up. And I had the guy change the fuel filters and all that stuff. Well, they put that service on this VIN number. Yeah, that's a huge oops. So I call them up and they're like, oh, we can't change that. Yeah, and I'm like, well, you have to change that because now people are going to think my car's got 143,000 miles on it when it doesn't. This car, and I don't even remember why I ever had this car at that shop, but there's no other service records at that shop from this car. So they had that VIN number in the system. The only way they would have had this VIN number is if I had this car at their shop previously, which they didn't log that service, but they logged the 143,000 mile service on this car. And now I have to try to figure out how to deal with that because obviously the value in a collector car is the low miles. The value that you lose is when you add 120,000 miles, or it looks like the car is now a rollback because you're advertising something with 19,000 miles, even though it has 19,000 miles, but the records have a conflicting report, which the conflicting report is, it would make it something that's called a TMU, a true mileage unknown. And a lot of the subsequent registrations on it, so the first owner, as I said, sold it to Dave, Dave sold it to Roger, but Roger never registered it. Then he sold it to me, who registered it, but I registered it through a leasing company because I leased it for a couple of years. Then it went from the leasing company to my personal name, and then I put it into my Montana company. So that's the ownership lineage on this car. But it's probably pretty maddening to be, not probably, it's very maddening to be in a situation where guys are like, what do you want me to do? What do you mean, what do I want you to do? I didn't want you to put the wrong VIN number. No, we didn't put the wrong VIN number. I'm like, you put the wrong VIN number. This car wasn't there. You had my 143,000 mile car. That's the one you worked on. It was not this one. I don't know where you got this VIN number from, but you've now caused me quite the headache. So if somebody has a connection at CarFax, I've got both cars that you can come look at both VIN numbers. It's the timing lines up, the videos document it. If somebody's at CarFax and that can help straighten this out, I would appreciate it because that's a very frustrating thing. So I can't sell this car until I fix that because that is something you can't get around. Like having something where the mileage is off by, not like ours, it's off by 1,000. It's off by 120,000. It's ridiculous. It's very frustrating, but that is the problem I find myself in. If you're interested in this car, before I run it through an auction, just shoot me an email, rob@superspeeders.com, and we'll get one thing sorted, and then we'll get this thing out of here and free up some space in the garage. Thank you guys for watching. Rob Ferretti. Help me, somebody at CarFax. See you soon. I'll let you know how it goes.